Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending to this presentation on Ceapro. I'm Gilles Gagnon, CEO of Ceapro, CEO and President of Ceapro. And thank you for the Noble Financials organization as well to allow us to present this morning. So I'm going to talk about Ceapro, for which I am going to make some forward-looking statements. In a nutshell, Ceapro means a cereal advanced processing, and we are an innovation-driven biotechnology company, leveraging our expertise in the extraction of active ingredients from natural sources. We are experts at extracting ingredients from plants. We were incorporated in Canada in 1997. We have our own brand new GMP manufacturing facility, and we are publicly listed on the TSXV as well as over the counter in US. You know, in a nutshell, at Ceapro, so far, we have been acting as a contract manufacturing organization. But we have a vision, of course, to become a full-fledged natural pharmaceutical product company. So for that purpose, though, to achieve that vision, I wanted really to establish a solid base business. And we have elected to pick two value drivers that are extracted from oatmeal, and from which we can serve the cosmetic sector and therefore build a solid, profitable base business. So as I said, we have a revenue generating base business serving the cosmeceutical sector and with the same active ingredients now, but according to different formulations, we expect to expand into nutraceuticals and pharmaceuticals division sectors. And these new formulations are being made possible through the use of our enabling technologies. So these two value drivers that we have picked are from oat, and namely beta-glucan and avenantamides. You can find beta-glucan from many sources, but the beta-glucan from oat is the only one that is water-soluble. And this is a very important property. Regarding the avenantamides, this is unique to oat. You won't find this active ingredient anywhere else from any other source. So this is unique, and we are the only company in the world that can produce this at the commercial scale level. So we have done this for the last 10 years, and so far I'm very pleased to say that this business has served us very, very well. As you can see on this chart here, and according to the statistical model here with the dotted line, we have grown over the last decade at an average of 10% per year. So this is quite reconforting. And as you can see at your extreme right, after 3 quarters in 2020, we have already achieved 96% of the sales that were achieved for the full year 2019. And already I can tell that we will have achieved the best ever year from a revenue perspective in the history of the company. So with these strong results, of course, we are accumulating cash. We have recorded a 2.6 million profit after 9 months. So we are on our way for a fantastic year. And this will allow us, of course, to re-inject money in order to achieve our vision to become a natural pharmaceutical company. Here we are. We have built this small pipeline so far by reinvesting our money in R&D. So as you can see, oat beta-glucan, we serve this for the cosmeceutical sector. As well, we have developed a functional drink when we combine it with the energy booster compound called the coenzyme Q10. Also, beta-glucan is known to be a cholesterol reducing agent. The avenantamides, the other value driver, is on the market for cosmeceuticals, and we have conducted a 4-year clinical program with University of Minnesota as well. But our new kid on the block now is beta-glucan extracted from yeast. So this is being tested in a preclinical setup at the moment for some lung disease. All this, of course, these active ingredients are manufactured in our own state-of-the-art manufacturing site located in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And this is a 30,000 square feet brand new facility, and where we are using our own core technologies. Like for Cosmeceuticals, we are producing liquid formulation obtained from an ethanol fractionation process, while for upcoming nutraceuticals and pharmaceuticals, we are producing a powder formulation where avenantramides are produced using our own chromatography purification technology, and beta-glucan and other water-soluble biopolymer are being produced using our new pressurized gas expanded technology that we call PGX. So if we look at our sector, first the cosmeceuticals, I'm sure that you all know these brands, and most of you have these brands, at least one of these products in your house. Like Aveeno includes avenantramides, Neutrogena includes beta-glucan. And to show another well-known example, this Aveeno line of product that was launched by Johnson & Johnson to treat eczema 3-4 years ago. In this formulation, they have replaced the cortisone by our avenantramides. So they know the physiological properties of our avenantramides, and they have made that replacement in order to avoid the thinning of the skin that usually happens with the long time topical application of cortisone. So this is an interesting product and one of the value driver in our portfolio as well. Also, we have our own final formulation that we call Juvante. This brand includes our two active ingredients, beta-glucan and avenantramides, where beta-glucan is believed to act as a carrier for avenantramide. And this, of course, we don't expect to compete against L'Oréal or Clarin of this world, but to the contrary, the idea is to develop delivery system using this kind of a cream here, and we can conjugate the beta-glucan with other anti-inflammatory products. Also, we can conjugate beta-glucan with cannabinoid molecules for pain management purposes or anxiety control as well. So there are many potential applications with this upcoming delivery system. If we look at the nutraceutical sector now, as mentioned, beta-glucan is a well-known cholesterol reducer. And the idea was really to dry up the cosmetic formulation, produce a pure pill of beta-glucan, and launch a protocol to test beta-glucan as a cholesterol reducer. And we have signed a long-term agreement with the Montreal Heart Institute, and this is the first trial that is going to be part of the program with the Montreal Institute. It is a multi-center, randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study. We are going to assess 3 doses of beta-glucan, 1.5, 3, and 6 grams per day. And there will be 88 patients per arm, and we will have enrolled, randomized 264 patients upon completion. And this protocol is further shown here. And I'm pleased to report that the very first arm is fully randomized. So 10 days ago, we had these 88 patients that were fully randomized. And since then, over the last 10 days, we have enrolled 22 additional patients in the second arm who are going to receive 3 grams of either beta-glucan or a placebo. So I'm very pleased with the team at the Montreal Heart Institute who have been quite innovative to try to reach out patients, because this is all outpatients clinics and setup even during this pandemic. So at that pace, I am confident that that study will be fully randomized and completed in year 2021. So we are pleased with that pace as we speak. And also with beta-glucan, when we have formed the beta-glucan pill, the powder formulation, we realized that the morphology could allow for integration of other bioactives in it. And along with the MIT, we conjugated coenzyme Q10 with beta-glucan, and knowing that coenzyme Q10 is not very well soluble in water, we made it water soluble when we conjugated it with our beta-glucan, which is water soluble. And we demonstrated that this is a stable formulation. And more than that as well, we've demonstrated that we made it better bioavailable than the golden standard in oil. We are offering this new chemical complex to some companies as an out licensing candidates, but it's a complex process, and it's a little bit expensive. And given that, we have decided to develop additional carriers. So where we have replaced oat beta-glucan by alginate as an example, combined to CoQ10, and yeast beta-glucan combined to CoQ10 as well. It's much easier to process, and it is much less expensive. So this is also these are also new chemical complex that are being offered for licensing out activities. But we need to demonstrate that these two new chemical complexes are also bioavailable, the same way we did for oat beta-glucan. But due to the pandemic and the stay-home orders from government, we still don't have access to the lab that is performing these kind of studies. And this is a short study. Usually, it takes 2 months to conduct these kind of studies. But here we are. This is beyond our control. Okay, and also avenantramides. We have worked with the University of Minnesota for 4 years now, and in the exercise-induced inflammation protocol, and we have demonstrated the anti-inflammation properties of avenantramides. And now for us, it was a nice proof of principle, and the next step for us is really to file a phase 1 protocol with our pharmaceutical grade tablet. So this is one of our next step with the avenantramides, because we want to address inflammation-based disease in cardiovascular and gastrointestinal systems as well. And if we look at pharmaceuticals, here is our new kid on the block. This is yeast beta-glucan extracted from yeast and purified using our PGX technology. You know, we started in 2016 to work with with McMaster University in Canada, and they were asked by a big pharma company to develop an inhalable formulation of an existing oral product to treat lung fibrosis. So they called on us, we had the agreement, and we developed several carriers like oat beta-glucan, like alginate, ketosane, gamma-arabic, and beta-glucan extracted from yeast. And we tried these carriers in an animal model with and without the drug, and we realized that the beta-glucan extracted from yeast had some properties by itself as a standalone. So we further developed this product and to make sure that it would it would have the right particle size to get into the smallest tissues of the lung. And this is exactly what we've done. So you can see on this image at your left, this is a yeast beta-glucan that has been spray dried, which you will find on the market at the moment. It has a 40 micron diameter. While to be suitable to get to the smallest tissue of the lungs and the smallest blood vessels, blah, blah, we need to be less than 10 micron. And we have achieved, using our PGX technology and purifying yeast beta-glucan, we have achieved less than 5 microns. So these particles are absolutely suitable for inhalation by the lung. They don't agglomerate, it forms stable dispersions, and it has a larger surface area for impregnation of bioactive delivery systems as well. So in other words, to carry other drugs. In parallel, though, we have conducted in vitro studies using human cell lines. Because, of course, since McMaster was already working on lung fibrosis, came the idea to work with COVID-19 patients. We look at the beta-glucan specific receptors called dectin-1A and 1B, and they are specific to yeast beta-glucan. And we realized that when processed with PGX, yeast beta-glucan showed highly significant improved binding capacity to dectin receptors compared to spray-dried receptors. So here I just have an example where you have the binding capacity, a dose response capacity of the spray-dried formulation, and when we PGX process that formulation, we obtain a 5 times more potent binding capacity to the specific yeast beta-glucan receptors. So this is a major finding, and this is a great hint for the ongoing research with the McMaster, by McMaster researchers in terms of dosing, because this, of course, if it is more potent like that, it would suggest that a lower dose might be as effective as current medication today. So this is a major finding. And also, as an aside, McMaster researchers have observed that the dectin-1A and B receptors are overexpressed in lung fibrosis patients as well as COVID-19 patients. I'm not going to provide data because it's going to be published. So these are data for publication. But this is very, very interesting hint. And at the end of the day, when we look at the ongoing work, we have a potential target drug as a product candidate in our hands. So in the meantime, so this is in vitro. Now they are conducting preclinical studies. The objectives was to examine tolerability and safety in both naive animal and preclinical animals, where we will have induced inflammation. And then once the proper dose will be found, then they will go ahead for the therapeutic efficacy with that dose. But already what we have done here in parallel in vitro gives now a better idea about the dose response that we are expecting. So the key findings so far: particle size are suitable for inhalation. They are widely distributed throughout the lungs. There are no safety issues. Animals tolerated very well and survived the high dose of PGX-YBG, and there is no acute lung injury or vessel damage as well. So if we look, all this have been made possible with beta-glucan and the other carriers by using our PGX technology. This is a disruptive new platform technology that is going to be a game changer for the company, there's no doubt. As I mentioned, here is an example from liquid oat beta-glucan for cosmetic. We have processed it through PGX to obtain derived formulations that you can see at your right. And also these derived formulations can be impregnated with other bioactives like coenzyme Q10. And at the very right, you can see here that you can see the small molecules of coenzyme Q10 well embedded in the beta-glucan matrix. So, this is at the basis of the uniform and stable solution as well, formulation. Also, as I mentioned, we have developed new carriers called like alginate. And with which alginate, we were able to develop a new forms of products, like on this case, the fast dissolving strips that can be dissoluble very, very quickly when put into under the tongue. And these strips can be impregnated with other bioactives. Could be impregnated with cannabis as well. So this is a very, very promising product as well. And in a nutshell, PGX technology platform is very versatile. It allows for the development of customized delivery systems that can be administered through different forms, being pill, fast dissolving strips, face mask, etc. And all these findings, of course, have triggered us to invest in the development of of a larger scale, the PGX equipment. Here we are at this, we see this pilot facility in our existing plant in Edmonton, and also we have bought equipment in Germany back in September for the commercial scale up. We have hired a company to dismantle this equipment and reassemble it in another location. But due to the pandemic, of course, and the stay-home orders, the company that we have hired, we expect that they will have access to this facility to start the dismantling by mid-February. So we cross fingers here that they will have access to this facility. It's a research facility, and then they will dismantle to be reassembled in another location. So from a corporate perspective, as you have seen, the products, they might apply in any of these big markets here. At the latest, during the last minute, I talked about the yeast beta-glucan. It would apply very much in the functional food area, which has a $240 billion market. And just the immune booster market is $24 billion in that segment. And it is going to grow tremendously. And some market research reports, they expect a 40% increase per year over the next 5 years due to the COVID, the pandemic situation as we speak. Beta-glucan at the present is a $1 billion market. Beta-glucan from yeast, I mean, is a $1 billion market. And from our own studies, of course, if we look at the risk-adjusted, the net present value as per our financial models, we would expect with a 20% discount and only a 3% market share, because there are 10 products on the market at the moment, we would get a $100 million net present value. So this is significant for a company like us. But anti-inflammatory, this is a market that we can access as well with avenantamides, diabetes, metabolic disease, in fact, with both beta-glucan and avenantamides and functional drink, and cosmetic skincare, where we are at the moment as well. These are all large potential markets, and any market share in those will dramatically change the company. And it will certainly move up these numbers that you can see here. We had 12.9 million sales in 2019 and already 12.4 after 9 months. And we have a market cap of $54 million, a clean balance sheet, almost debt-free, and cash in hands. And we have generated close to $3 million of cash this year. So in a nutshell, we are very pleased with the 2020 achievements. Our employees work tirelessly, and they achieved the almost slightly impossible from a production operations perspective in 2020. So what was under our control, we could manage, but what is under stay-home orders, of course, it's a more challenging. But nevertheless, in 2021, we expect to complete the study as beta-glucan as a cholesterol reducer, to file a phase 1 for avenantramide with health authorities, and of course, subject to preclinical results, initiate a phase 1 study as a potential COVID-19 treatment for PGX yeast beta-glucan. We want to have completed the commercial scale-up of PGX as well. We are pursuing out-licensing discussions for our new chemical complex now. We have 3 that all include the CoQ10, and we are still working on uplisting to a national US exchange. We qualify on all criteria except share price, which needs an entry ticket of $4 US per share in order to get entry without any restrictions. So, in a nutshell, we will continue to grow our base business. This is an established base business with very, very solid customers. And at the same time, with the same active ingredients, different formulations, we expect to shift and expand to the nutraceuticals and pharmaceutical sectors that are offering multiple growth opportunities. And on that note, I want to thank you very much for your interest and ongoing support in our company. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation, Gilles. So that was a great overview on the company. So I have a few questions. Some of them I received from the audience.
Yes.
First question is, you do generate revenues. What is the main driver on the revenue side? And when do you think you'll turn the profitability corner?
Yeah, so the main driver is avenantamides. Avenantamides represents 60% of our revenues. And we are profitable at the moment. So we are profitable. And after 9 months, the net profit was 2.4 million compared to a deficit of 1.3 million in 2019 for the same period.
That sounds good. And where do you see the biggest growth opportunity on the revenue side? Are you thinking the growth opportunity will come from PGX technology as well? And if so, what is the timeline on that? When do you think you would actually benefit from that technology?
Yes, applications coming from the use of the PGX technology will be a major value driver, but it will take another 18 months really before reaching the market. In the meantime, we expect avenantamides to continue to grow nicely, and we are hopeful, of course, to experience the same double-digit growth in 2021 that we have experienced as an average over the last decade every year. But the applications coming from the use of PGX, and especially beta-glucan from yeast, because despite the fact that there are vaccines that have been developed, there will be a lot of space for new products as immune booster. And the immune booster, of course, as a preventative measure, as a curative measure, and a new concept that has been brought, that is being discussed by one of our board members as well, Dr. Lee, as vaccine enhancers. That's a concept, a new concept that we will hear a lot in the future, I'm convinced.
That sounds good. And another question in line with that is, are we looking for any partnership? Are we planning to commercialize PGS technology? And because you gave an 18 months deadline, do you think that will happen after that, or should we expect anything in between?
Yes. Now, given the findings with the yeast beta-glucan, we are really conducting additional feasibility studies to see if we should not pursue this by ourselves instead of going with a partner, especially for yeast beta-glucan, because it seems to be such a great opportunity as we speak. This, of course, we are not excluding the scenario of going by ourselves. For the other new chemical complexes, alginate CoQ10, oat beta-glucan, we are talking to companies to licensing out these two new chemical complex at least. Of course, we can think about yeast beta-glucan CoQ10, but given what I have said, yeast beta-glucan is a new gem, and it is worth it to really conduct additional, to look further to the potential of this new product.
I am also curious on the therapeutic side. When do you think we will have some data readout from clinical trials, perhaps the reducing cholesterol or any other aspects?
If I understood the question correctly, you're talking about beta-glucan as a cholesterol reducer?
That's correct, yes. The clinical.
And the timeline?
For the clinical data.
Oh, clinical data. Okay. Yes, of course, beta-glucan is being assessed either as a standalone therapy now or as add-on therapy to statins. And this is an amendment that was approved by Health Canada. In terms of clinical data, we expect to have these clinical data in the third quarter 2021. At the end of the third quarter, because of this pandemic situation, we were delayed, but that's what we would expect. And we are looking now at a reduction of LDL, and it would be great if we could achieve 15% reduction. So that's an endpoint that would be contemplated for sure. But with the natural product division, of course, they say we will look at it's more a descriptive primary endpoint that they will look at. So I'm fixing this percentage as an objective, but they will look at a descriptive endpoint approach.
That sounds good. Why don't we just leave out the value generating catalyst as a message to our audience for today? What would be the major value driving generating catalyst for the next 12 to 18 months?
So the cosmetic business, of course, is going to continue to grow. There is no doubt. We have integrated all our production operations under one roof. We have a more efficient process, we hope, and especially for Avenantamides. So it will continue to be a great value driver for sure. But we put a lot of expectations on the yeast beta-glucan for sure. And for that purpose, we have decided to scale at the pilot level the production of a yeast beta-glucan in planning for a potential clinical trial, phase 1-2, with yeast beta-glucan, depending on the preclinical results that will be obtained by the McMaster researchers.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for your presence and participation to our conference, Gilles. We'll look forward to following the story. Thank you.
Thank you, Aou. Thank you so much.